Welcome to the semi-live here this week. It is one of our favorite times of the year. It's velvet season. We're out on Jim's property tonight. Gonna check here for some bucks, but we got the whole crew out here this week on the show. Gonna be doing a little bit of velvet scouting this week and showing you some of the bucks that we got running around on some of the farms we'll be hunting this summer. So pretty exciting time of year. Jim's got his shirt on straight, so we're gonna head out right now.
I think it's just a doe, but they like to cross back and forth. The does like to hang in this bottom, the bucks like to come out right on that corner over there. They'll either funnel out or they'll come down midway in that field and walk out. He's got really good brows. There's another really good one there. There's a whole mess of bucks out there. He's working down to the left, actually. A whole bunch of bachelor bucks just came out. A couple does out there, but there's some solid 3-4-year-old deer out there for old Jimbo this year. If Jimbo doesn't kill a buck off this field opening day, there's something wrong, I think. There's bucks running around all over out there, good ones too. Yeah, that one's got really good brow. You think you'd be able to drop the hammer on him, Jim? And you know. Well, the alfalfa field so far is producing. We're getting some pretty good, nice footage of some good bucks, so we'll see what happens. This is his first time with electronics. He's learning the ropes and he's all giddy about it. I can zoom. I can focus.
You know, we're getting the snaps of these deer for the next month and a half.
Yeah. I have a Phoneskope, but I don't know how to put the case on my phone, so... Scouted this spot pretty good. Now we're gonna jump to this all front field by the house there where I've been seeing a nicer buck. So we're gonna see if he comes out tonight and see if we can get some photo ops and video of him. So see what happens.
That's a buck over here to the left. Smaller one.
Alright, well, we just set up by the house here where I've been seeing a nicer buck out on this field here just by the house. So we're gonna sit out here until dark and finish up here, and hopefully he'll show up and we'll be able to get to check him out.
There's a couple more little bucks by the power line. A couple little spikers or forkers.
See where those two small ones are coming up, Dan? That's where he kind of usually comes out there, or he'll come out where that tree ladder stand is. That's where I've been seeing him come out.
Jimbo's got him down to the feeding times.
Yeah, he's got him dialed.
There's 3 bucks right there. That 1/8's not terrible. And 4 bucks there. Yeah, he's actually a lot bigger than I think. $5, $6. Yeah, he's bigger than it. He looks a lot like the one I seen a couple weeks ago, Jim. Yeah.
He's got a split brow. Did you see that? That's a good buck, Jimbo.
135, 140.
Well, it's the end of July, and Dan and I came out to Pella pretty much for doing something I would never do, but I am doing a major facelift out here this year. There's a bunch of logging equipment out here right now, and there's been a lot of activity, so normally I wouldn't come up here to do this, but since everything's been getting worked on up here, we're gonna sneak up here and watch a bean field, see what comes out tonight. So not sure with what made it through last year, usually there's a buck I'm kind of hoping made it through. I haven't put any cameras out yet, but I will here in the next couple weeks. But we're just gonna kind of see what comes out and be surprised. But gonna test out the Phonescopes and Vortex and see what we see tonight. Hopefully something big comes out and surprises us. That'd be a good case scenario. Originally thought that buck was a 3-year-old. He might be a stud too. Either way, one of the kids would be ecstatic with him. Heather hasn't shot a buck in a few years either. She might kill him too. He's a really pretty buck. But there is him, and then there's a few 1.5-year-olds. We're gonna sit here for a little while yet. Nothing else big comes out. We're gonna slip out here and drive around the block, see what we can see from the road. There's a couple other bean fields and a hay field that we can check. Hopefully there's a Mufasa type deer running around on one of these fields. Little bug. Oh boy. Might be Mr. Browtines.
No way.
Not even lying to you. There's a deer out there with really big Browtines, and he definitely looks mature. It's actually an 8-pointer with really good brows. Oh, he's gonna have a split on his right side. That could be Mr. Browtine. He wouldn't have grown much in a year though. He'd be about the same. Dan and I just drove around the block here. It's getting pretty dark. We're watching a bean field here right from the road, and this is pretty much 40 acres. Really, that field that we were watching is just on the other side of this woods on the neighbors. So these bucks they're less than an 80 from my land. The one buck out here might be Mr. Browtine from last year, which I got one picture of him in velvet, and I got one picture of him in hardhorn last year. And very similar. If it's him, he didn't grow much from last year, but very similar frame deer, and it's definitely a mature buck. It's getting pretty dark, but I think there might be one other shooter out there too, which if those deer are here, I'll get them over there for sure once the activity decreases. But we'll leave them be for now. I'm gonna get some cameras out, and we'll be doing a couple scouting missions out here come September, because that's when you really get your good intel, see where stuff's at to go after early season. But we'll get out of here now. It's getting dark.
Well, we are doing our velvet filming for the night, or looking. We like to do ours maybe different than other people. We just get in the truck, grab all of our camera gear, and just put on as many miles as we can in the night. Made quite a few rounds already. Got a couple nice bucks. One actually stayed off the road for us for a little while, so it's cool. There's 3 of them out here. One's pretty nice, but got a couple of spots that we're gonna check here, closer to Dylan's property that hopefully are nice. But we got a guy kind of pulling up on us.
He's just checking it out. Oh yeah, he's pointing at the deer.
He likes the deer too.
Everybody loves velvet.
Oh yeah.
We got a pretty decent buck that we're looking at through the Phoneskope right now. This field is actually probably only about a half mile, 3/4 mile down the road from our property. So a lot of these bucks have a pretty good chance to making their way into our property come September, October, and during the rut. A lot of our bigger bucks tend to move in later in the year. It's more of a breeding ground, but it's cool to see some pretty good bucks right next door.
All right, let's roll. It's the 29th of July today, up in Wisconsin here for the next few days. We're gonna go out, got Jim with me tonight. Gonna see if we can find some bucks, velvet bucks here. It's getting to be that time of year where getting pretty amped up for the fall. Had some cooler weather here the last few days. It's getting to be that time of year. We're closing in. Pretty pumped. But we're gonna go try and glass a farm that I can hunt here tonight. It's solid beans, and usually we get some good bucks down there in the summer. My #1 buck that I'm gonna be after this year, I actually got a cell camera picture of him here this morning. I put cameras out here about a week or so ago, and he showed up first picture of the year. Buck I call Stevie Wanderer. He's a beautiful 5-year-old. Got quite a bit of history with him. But the property we're actually going to glass tonight, there's a chance we could see him, but he would have to cover some serious ground from where I got the picture of him this morning. So I'm not really expecting to run into him tonight. But there should be some other nice bucks around the area this year. Set up in the beans here. We had a doe and a little buck, a couple fawns out in the field on the walk-in. So we kind of had to hunker down for a little bit. And we just needed to get about another 100 yards or so. We got set up now. We're kind of on a crest of a hill and it drops down into this bottom. These deer usually come out of this woods to the north. We got a doe down in the bottom right now, just eating in the beans. We had another one out here to the east a little while ago that went in the woods. Another one that was out here to the north, about 150 yards from us. Kind of surrounded, but hopefully we get a buck or two to come out here. We still got probably another half hour, 45 minutes of daylight, so I'd imagine something will step out. But we'll hang tight here. Hopefully we don't get ate alive by mosquitoes. Deer starting to pour out into the field here. We just had a doe come in right up close and personal. Fortunately, she kind of alerted everyone else of our presence, but this buck, we had a solid, I think he's a 2-year-old, probably not quite a 3-year-old. He came out to the east of us here, a few hundred yards. They don't know what happened or what's going on. They can't see us here, so they're just feeding out into the beans still. But he's a solid deer, not a shooter, but looks like he'd be a promising buck in the future. There's probably half dozen or more deer out in the field now. We got probably another 20-30 minutes of decent light left here. But if we get an opportunity, we'll probably try and slip out of here so we don't booger stuff too bad.
considering we kind of got pinned down in a not an ideal spot. I thought we'd be able to hit a little bit more in here, but it's not quite the case. So when we get an opportunity, we'll probably slip out of here and we might try coming back here in a different location in the future. Otherwise, we might. Jim's got some solid bucks that he's got his eye on this summer. We'll probably spend some more time out there after them. Pretty solid night in the beans. We're gonna get out of here. Go get a cold beer. Come along with.
It was a solid night. We didn't see anything crazy for big deer, but seen a decent amount of deer. Can't complain. About typical for Wisconsin. But try and maybe get out here again soon, out on one of these farms and see what else we can see. But I mean, other than that, we're pretty much. It's all velvet season now, and shooting bow and planting food plots. Got a lot of food plots to plant here in the next week, 2 weeks, and then it'll be season before we know it.
All right, just got to the spot. So there's a pretty nice sized deer in the back of this field. Don't know what it is, but we're gonna get the spotter out and get some eyes on it. So let's get going. Oh, that's my phone. So Nick and I are out here watching deer. Well, watching the bean field really. And my wife goes, "Hey, pizza's here." And I was like, "Oh, hell yeah. What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, nothing. I'm gonna go on a walk in a little bit." And I was like, "All right, well, why don't you think you can carry the pizza up here?" And it was about like, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile from the house. And she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So currently we have a hot pepperoni pizza from Philly's Pizza coming right up the road here. Let's open this bad boy up. Oh, paper towels! Today's first light in the field. Nick and I were out scouting deer today. It was about 90, 91 degrees this afternoon. Really didn't want to throw the pants on. Tonight it got a little bit cooler, but regardless, I've got these corrugates on. So these are basically the same thing as the corrugate pants, except they're shorts. I really like the material. They're really stretchy. They fit really well. I like how they've got the zip pockets, because let me tell you, when you're hunting, you're out and moving, or you're hanging tree stands, or just whatever it is you happen to be doing. And Nick knows as well as I do, I've lost my fair share of wallets and tags and anything else you could possibly think that's important. So zippers are like a must for me. They work really, really well. They got these 2 pockets up here. They got zippers back here, or a zipper back here as well. If you're looking for anything like that, I would say go ahead and pull the trigger.
Can't quite see it. When he picks his head up, I can see his rack, but
The way he came out was the same exact spot
really?
that I saw, yeah, in the middle right there. Came off the top of that ridge into the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, so Nate was out here earlier this week and got some eyes on a couple real nice bucks. Right across from this property we have permission to hunt, and they actually just stepped out here. We got some footage of him. Ooh, there he is. He stepped on top. And got the scope on him and the Phoneskope out and getting some decent footage of him. But But yeah, I would say they were probably elite, both 150 plus. Look like mature deer. Hard to tell. I wish he'd step over the hump a little bit. But regardless, it's nice to see some racks.
Well, patience kind of paid off on this one. Nick and I sat until, shit, it's about 9 o'clock, I bet. And wife delivered us a pizza. but yeah, a couple bucks ended up showing up at the back of the field. Came up over, not quite to show their body, but good enough racks. I mean, definitely solid 150s, I would say. Same, I'm pretty sure the same couple bucks that I saw earlier this week before I got rained out. But yeah, I mean, you can't really ask much better than that. I haven't seen Nick all week, and come out here and put a couple chairs up in the bed of a truck and just literally just have a couple of beers where we're watching deer. I mean, perfect weather. It's rained all week. It was hot. It was like in the 90s earlier, but now it's like 70s. So it's beautiful weather. You know, it's great spending time with the brother, and we're looking forward to this season. And yeah, can't wait to see what it has in store for us.